I do not regret not having a big wedding. Eloping is probably the best decision we've ever made. I mean, I can't recommend it more. Even if you already are planning a big wedding, you can always elope prior and just not tell anyone. It's super romantic. If you are getting married soon, whether you're having a big wedding, small wedding, eloping, whatever you do, just make sure your wedding is exactly how you want it to be. And also on that note, don't feel the need to compete with anyone. Like, your wedding is about you and your person. Like, no one's gonna be thinking about someone else's wedding. Like, oh, they should have done like this other person's wedding, or that last wedding was better than this one. No one's comparing. So why are we trying to compete with someone else? Hey y'all, welcome back to Reel It In. I'm your host, Reid Cox, and this is your go-to destination for self-improvement and creating the life you've always desired, all while keeping it real. And this week's episode, I am talking all about our elopement. So 6 months ago, my husband and we eloped in Hawaii. I did a previous video about this 6 months ago. I'll link it up top here and in the description. So you're welcome to go ahead and check that video out before you watch this one if you'd like all the detail by detail of our elopement. But this week marks 6 weeks of us getting married. Actually, it's 6 months. Oops. And we just got back from the mountains. So my husband and I grew up together in the mountains every summer. We were like summer high school sweethearts, but we went back up to the place where we grew up together, and we had a big wedding party with all the people that we grew up with. And it was honestly the most special celebration. We had another one about a month ago in my hometown, which was so much fun. But this one was extra special because we were celebrating with all the people that were there when we first kind of fell in love with as high schoolers. And they were also there when we fell in love again. But I was reflecting on the past 6 months, on the elopement, and I just have to tell y'all, I feel like aside from marrying my husband, eloping has been one of the best decisions we have ever made. So in this video, I'm going to be talking all about our elopement and also talking about it more from a perspective of in hindsight. Like my last video, we had just got married. It was super fresh. But this video, I'm going to be talking about how I feel about our elopement 6 months later, and also what it's been like being married. So I think eloping, I haven't met anyone who's eloped in a long time. I feel like it used to be a thing, and now it's not as popular as it used to be. So today I'm going to be totally making a case for elopement, but I'm also going to be talking you through the thought process. So if you are interested in eloping or having kind of a smaller wedding, like a micro wedding, these are the questions you're probably going to be asking yourself, and maybe my thought process for working through them will help you. So, like I said, 6 months ago this week, my husband and I got married. We got married on the big island of Hawaii. Why we chose Hawaii? Well, first off, I would have totally done Europe, but they kind of make it hard to get married in another country. It's way easier to get married in the country that you're from. So I wanted it to be a place that wasn't like where we live, but I didn't want to have to go to the trouble of like the whole getting married overseas thing. So we chose Hawaii. At first I wanted to do the Four Seasons in Maui because it's where they filmed White Lotus. However, I was looking online and I just saw the one on the Big Island, which just had like the best reviews. It was newly renovated, and I'm so glad we went with that one because it was truly the most beautiful resort I've ever been on. I haven't really been to that many resorts. My husband has been to more, but it was truly spectacular. So before we get into the actual elopement, I want to talk about the thought process that my husband and I went through when we were deciding what kind of wedding we wanted and how we actually came to the decision to elope. So I've compiled some questions that I've gotten from a lot of people, some once, some multiple times, but questions that I feel I get asked a lot about eloping, and I'm just going to answer them as I read them. So first question, okay, why did you elope in the first place? Well, okay, so I have nothing against big weddings. However, I've never really been the kind of person that fantasized about having a huge wedding. I more so have fantasized throughout my life of my marriage and all the things I would do with my husband and the big life we would live. So I was never really like hell bent on having a wedding. Like a lot of my friends, like they know exactly where they want to get married, who they want to marry them. And I just never felt that way. And I'm more like the one thing I knew I wanted with my wedding was I wanted it to feel intimate and I wanted to be able to take our time and I didn't want it to be a show. And I love big weddings. I truly do. People are like, oh, do you not like weddings? It's no, I truly love big weddings, but I like attending them. I'm not sure I'm cut out to throw them because I know myself and I'm the kind of person that if I was the bride and I had a big wedding, I'd be going up to every single person like, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you good? What can I get you? Like, I'd be too focused on the other people there and I wouldn't be focused on what I was about to do, which would be getting married and I should be focusing on my partner, you know? I feel like I wouldn't be able to focus on like the whole reason we were there and that's just me. Again, I love big weddings. I always felt like I was gonna elope. And so my husband and I, we were talking about having a big wedding. We even picked a date for a wedding. And a few things happened which led us to kind of open our minds to another option. So he was actually the one that was like, let's just elope. And I was like, really? Are you sure you'd be down with that? Because I'd mentioned it a few times. And then he was like, yeah, let's go someplace like awesome and let's just do it. So we chose Hawaii. But yeah, I mean, I've always thought the idea of eloping was super romantic. I just wanted my wedding to be very romantic. I wanted us to be able to take our time. I wanted it to be intimate, and I just wanted it to be the best day of my life. And I knew that I would just get so stressed out and so wigged out if I threw a big wedding. And I also knew that we would throw some sort of a party after, which we did. We've thrown two so far. We've done one in my hometown, one up in the mountain town where my husband and I grew up, and there'll probably be another one where he grew up at some point. But I knew that we were going to celebrate with friends and family at some point, so I thought, why don't we just go off and do the damn thing on our own? And so we eloped 5 months to the day from when we got engaged. So growing up, I always thought I'd want like a very long engagement, like something about being engaged sounded so like romantic and I wanted a long engagement. And then once I was engaged, I was like, oh my God, I can't get married soon enough. I was just like, I don't want to be engaged for like another day. I want to get married. I'm ready to be married. My husband and I, we were both ready to be married. So I think eloping too also helped us move the timeline along. Like my husband and I, like we got together when I was 30, I'm 33 and he was 34 at the time. Now he's 35, but like we're ready to start a family. Like we were ready to get on with our lives. And we also were still in a bit of a transition. Like at that moment, we kind of knew we were going to be moving within the next year. I didn't expect it to be that soon after we got married, but we knew we were going to be moving. So I was just like, I'm not going to like take all this time to plan a wedding and move and, you know, feel like I've got all this pressure to like a timeline to start a family too. So I just feel like eloping really solved a lot of our problems and answered a lot of our questions. And it was just a great solution. And I'm so happy we did it. So let's move on to this question. Did you feel any pressure to do something more traditional? Yes and no. I mean, yeah, like you do feel pressure to have like a bigger wedding for family and mainly family. My friends were like, yeah, go and do it. But like, you know, there's some people who would have preferred me to have a bigger wedding or at least something where they were present. But I mean, did I feel pressure to do something more traditional? No. I mean, I felt it, but I knew that my wedding was going to be for me and my husband and it wasn't going to be for anyone else but us. And that kind of made all the other pressures go away. And I also have such supportive parents. My parents were just like, y'all go off and get married. So it worked out well that way. Okay, how did people react at the time to you eloping? Okay, yeah, kind of already mentioned that, but some people had an issue with it and most people didn't. Like the people that I just really cared about my family and my parents' perspective, you know? My best girlfriends were like, yeah, you go, girl. They were so happy for me. Yeah, some people were bummed that there wasn't like a big party, which I totally get. But yeah, I mean, what was the best part of eloping? Okay, definitely the best part of eloping is, to me, it felt like we were able to focus on the relationship and the steps we were taking in our relationship, which was getting married. I was able to focus on the relationship itself over the event. So I know if I had a big wedding, I probably would have been focused more on the event and making sure everything went well. And this way, I was able to focus on my husband and our vows and just like really like dig my heels into the sand, literally and figuratively, because we got married on a beach of the moment. But yeah, I just feel like I was able just to focus on the relationship over the event, and that's what I wanted in my wedding, was the focus to be on the relationship. So yeah, I think that's one of the best parts of it. I mean, it was super intimate. It was stress-free, which was very helpful. There was no stress involved. I had someone do my hair and my makeup. We had a photographer, a videographer. Like, it was a little bit of a show. Like, we had a wedding planner, but it wasn't nearly as expensive as it would have been if we did a big wedding. So, did you miss having your family and friends there? Yes and no. I mean, of course, it would have been nice to have them there. And we thought about maybe inviting a few people, but then we were like, that's just how, like, someone's going to feel left out if they weren't included. So it was either going to be like a big wedding or an elopement. So yeah, it would have been nice to have my friends and family there, but also I kind of liked it just being me and my husband. Again, like, there is something super sexy and romantic and special about it just being the two of you. So I missed them, but I also didn't, if that makes sense. And again, I knew we would celebrate later. So yeah, can you talk about the parties after? Okay, so the two parties that we've had so far, I didn't even plan those. Again, like, if y'all are seeing a theme, like, I don't want to plan anything. So the first party was thrown by all my mom's best friends. They threw us an amazing party and we just had to show up. It was so amazing. And then the second party was hosted by my aunt and uncle. They were so sweet to host. And there were like, I think 10 other couples that also hosted that one. And it was just so fun and everyone was so generous. But yeah, a big plus with these parties was that we didn't have to plan them. So if you do elope, like, you don't have to also like throw yourself a big party too. Like, you can ask maybe a loved one if they'll throw you something. It doesn't have to be big. It can be like a backyard barbecue to have some friends over. It doesn't have to be like a big thing. Our parties were kind of like bigger things, but again, like, we didn't plan anything. We just showed up and everyone just showered us with love. So yeah, it was really special. It was really, really, really special. And even like to have it thrown for you, like have the party thrown for us and not have to throw the party for other people, it just made it made us feel celebrated in such a special way that I don't think we would have felt if we were actually throwing the wedding. Okay, do you regret not having a big wedding? No, absolutely not. Already kind of answered that question. I do not regret not having a big wedding. Eloping is probably the best decision we've ever made. I mean, I can't recommend it more. Even if you already are planning a big wedding, you can always elope prior and just not tell anyone. It's super romantic. Okay, any moments of FOMO or second thoughts? Did I have a fear of missing out moment or second thoughts? No. I mean, we were really sure that that was what we wanted to do, so I do feel like one of the reasons why I wanted to elope as well is because I feel like weddings these days have kind of become a competition with each other. Like, I see how one person's trying to top the last person's wedding, and not everyone who's doing a wedding is doing that, is competing, but I do feel like there is a certain level of competition, and that's just not what I wanted. I just really wanted it just to be about us. So if you are getting married soon, whether you're having a big wedding, small wedding, eloping, whatever you do, just make sure your wedding is exactly how you want it to be. And also on that note, don't feel the need to compete with anyone. Like, your wedding is about you and your person. Like, no one's going to be thinking about someone else's wedding. Like, oh, they should have done like this other person's wedding, or that last wedding was better than this one. No one's comparing. So why are we trying to compete with someone else? Okay, advice for others considering eloping. Well, if you do know you want to elope, first decide where you want it to be. I mean, some people go to the courthouse, some people do it in their backyard, some people go to like a tropical place or on top of a mountain. Decide where you want it to be and then build out from there. So we first decided Hawaii, and then we decided the Four Seasons. Then we reached out to the wedding planner, and then her name was Mew. She's amazing. If you ever want to get married at the Big Island Four Seasons, hit up Mew. She's awesome. Then we reached out to Mew, and she helped us plan it. But we couldn't have reached out to her yet if we didn't know where we wanted to get married. So I'd say first decide where you want to get married. and then just go from there. And also just like on the day, like remember, like it's your wedding day. Like there's no one there. Like it doesn't matter if your makeup's not perfect or your hair is not perfect. Like you are there to get married. So just take all the pressure off and just enjoy. Okay. Now that we talked about eloping, I'm going to talk about the first 6 months of marriage. Okay. First thing I have to say, you know how people will sometimes ask someone who's been married, like, does it feel any different being married than before? And sometimes people will be like, no, it's just the same, but with like a ring and a contract. I could not disagree more. I think being married is the best thing ever, and it's so different from when we were just engaged or just dating. Like something about ever since we got married, I just feel so much closer to my husband, and it's like just when I thought we couldn't feel more like a team, we do. Like we've only been married 6 months, but like each month that goes by, I feel more like a team with him and I feel closer to him. And it's just so nice to know that like we're not going anywhere, you know? And even when you're dating someone as a female, especially in your 30s, sometimes there's like this anxiety about like not being married yet, or just like, oh God, if this relationship doesn't work out, I'd have to start all over in my 30s. And I never thought that, but I feel like we're all conditioned as women to kind of feel that. So being married, I just feel this level of safety and security that I have never felt before. And also marriage is so fun. Like we're just having the best time being goofy, and it's just like you're just like doing life together and you're planning for the future. And even though like we'd make plans for the future when we were just dating, but when you're married, I think it just feels different. It feels like more firm and strong, and like things speed up too. Like when we got married, like it was almost like immediately like we were realizing like we're going to move, and then we moved, and then we bought our house, and you know, now we're moving forward with the rest of our life. So I feel like also marriage, because you feel like more of a team, you take action quicker and you decide what you want and then you just do it. You don't wait around, you know? Because before you get married, there's a lot of the talk of like, oh, well, let's get married first and then do this. And it's like, nah, we're moving right along, you know? How has your relationship evolved since the wedding? How has it not evolved? I feel like I just answered that, but I mean, again, marriage is just the best. I feel like it's also just kind of like how I said, just when I feel like we can't become more of a team, we do. I feel like just when I feel like I know him, I get to know a deeper level of him. And I also feel like I'm getting to know a deeper side of myself too through marriage. Like there's just some level of just like not hiding and just being so honest about. I feel like I've been way more honest about not insecurities. Insecurities isn't the right word. I've been more honest about thoughts that I'm afraid to even acknowledge to myself. Like, you know, when you have a thought and you're like, oh, I can't go there with myself. It's too much to process. Like I feel like I share it with my husband and I'm able to process it more quicker. Am I making sense? Basically, I just feel like way more intimate and closer to him. Any unexpected challenges or joys? Well, moving is always a challenge, but this move was fun and adventurous. Like when we moved to Austin, that was stressful. And when we moved from our apartment to our house, that was stressful. But moving cities, it was honestly just like a big adventure, and we were on it together. And then like moving into our house, like all of our stuff was in a pod storage unit. So like I didn't have to pack anything up. I just had to unload stuff. And the fact that we own our house now, it's just been so much fun, and just like I'm taking more pride into our home because we own it too. So, I mean, challenges, I guess like moving was kind of a challenge, but yeah, no, not really any challenges. We're doing pretty good right now, knock on wood. Wrapping up, final thoughts on eloping and our marriage. So I think the overall point of this video, now that I've already recorded it and I'm kind of seeing where my thought pattern is, I think the overall message is your relationship and your wedding and your marriage should be done your way. Don't do the wedding that you feel like you've got to do to please your parents or your in-laws or your family or friends. Your wedding and your marriage is about the two of you. It's about what you want. And yeah, like you both might want different things. My husband and I wanted different things for our wedding in the beginning, and we came to a compromise. So once you start the conversations with your partner, like if you're engaged and you still haven't made any progress on planning a wedding or how you want to get married, just open up the conversations and figure out how y'all can meet each other in the middle. Because again, there's so much competition in weddings and competition in relationships, and it's about y'all. And honestly, like, I feel like by eloping, we were also just like, yeah, no, we're not competing with anyone. This is what we're doing, and it's going to be the best. And I mean, I think my wedding was the best wedding that ever existed. So, I mean, I don't know. I think like if you're the type of person that's ever thought about eloping, but you think, nah, like I could never do that. Because I'll tell you what, when I tell people that we eloped, 9 times out of 10, they're like, that's the way to do it. I wish we had eloped. A lot of people say that. And I think like after people go through like the big wedding process, like keep in mind, like weddings are a multi-billion-dollar industry a year, I believe. Like, don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it is per year. Like there is such an industry on this, around this. And there is a certain level of pressure to like make it huge and over the top and people please, and just get really still with yourself and ask yourself what you want and get rid of all the noise and pressures to please other people or thoughts of like what you feel like you have to do. And just remember, your wedding is about you and your partner and no one else. And protect that. I also feel like when you're planning a big wedding, there's such a big buildup to the wedding. And then after the wedding, it's like, we're married, but now what? You know, I feel like the way we did it, I was like, I want the marriage to be like the big thing we're working towards and looking forward to. Like eloping, like it was so amazing and fun, but it just kept getting better. It wasn't like a big peak, here's the wedding, and then we like plummet, you know? It was like, here's our wedding and here's our marriage. Like everything kept going uphill. So I feel like if you do a big wedding, just be careful to just set yourself up for success, and know that just because like, just don't, like I worry sometimes. Like I had a friend who got married and they worked so hard on the wedding, and this is like a long time ago. And then right after the wedding, she got like really depressed because she'd been putting all of her energy into this wedding. And then all of a sudden she was married, but she's like, oh, whoa, I'm married. Like the wedding and a marriage is a different thing. You know what I'm saying? So just make sure that you are getting married for the right reasons and you're looking forward to your marriage and not just the act of getting married. So after our wedding, I felt energized, not exhausted. When we came back to Austin from eloping, I was just so excited. I had so much energy. Like we were rested. I wasn't just depleted from like a huge wedding. So I really preferred it that way. And like always, if you have any questions about eloping, leave them in the comments, shoot me an email. I'm happy to answer. And I'm happy to also put you in contact with our wedding planner if you want to get married in Hawaii. There's so many people elope in Hawaii. So there's so many like wedding planners that aren't associated with the hotel. So it's totally doable and possible to do like on a budget, and it doesn't have to be super expensive. So anyway, that is it for today's episode. I hope this was helpful for anyone who is planning a wedding or considering what kind of wedding they want. Again, if you're new to the channel, throw me a like, subscribe to the channel so you never miss a future episode, and leave me a comment. Have you eloped? Are you thinking about eloping? Did you enjoy your big wedding? Again, there's no judgment towards big weddings. I just feel like I could have really used a video like this on YouTube when I was planning my elopement, just to because it's scary to elope sometimes. Because I mean, I don't know anyone who's eloped, my age at least. Like, and if I know anyone older, I can't think of them. But I don't really know anyone who's eloped, so I feel like it's definitely the road less traveled, and that's an exciting thing. Also, kind of a scary thing, but it's excited, and I hope this was helpful in helping you decide if eloping is right for you. Okay, y'all, I'll see you next time.